presidency, saying that the 10th Senate is a responsible and responsive chamber, hence would not do anything that can harm the economy and growth of Nigeria. It said the Senate receives only what the relevant agency of government constitutionally allocates to it and would never solicit for extra perks from other arms of government. The First Lady of Nigeria says it is imperative that Nigerians and Africans recognize that education plays a pivotal role in shaping attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors from an early age. Hence, early education should be treated with utmost importance. Speaking against the background of using education to combat child and youth violence in Africa, the First Lady, who joined other African First Ladies under the auspices of the Organization of African First Ladies for Development, OFLAD, in Angola to launch the We Are Equal campaign, noted that education remains a critical component of any progressive society and called for the inclusion of activities to help dismantle notions of gender-specific roles in teaching. In his address to declare the conference open, the President of the Republic of Angola, Manuel Lourenço, urged the First Ladies to lend their voices to end the various conflicts around the world, especially as women and children are worst affected. Angolan First Lady Ana Diaz Lourenço promised to sustain the fight against rape and see to the enhancing of legislation to punish perpetrators appropriately. The launch of the We Are Equal campaign for Angola with the theme, the role of education in achieving gender equality as a means to combat child and youth violence, had in attendance the First Lady of Sao Tome, Cape Verde, Sierra Leone, Mozambique, and representatives of other African countries. The Nigerian Air Force NAF says airstrikes by the air component of Operation Delta Safe has destroyed 13 illegal refining sites. In a statement by NAF's Director of Public Relations and Information, Edward Gapquet, says that over 10 overhead tanks and several gallons of illegally refined products were also destroyed in the operations. He said the airstrikes were part of efforts to curtail activities of oil thieves and economic saboteurs engaged in illegal and nefarious acts of busting oil pipelines and siphoning crude oil. He noted that the air component had increased its rates of patrol, especially within the Niger Delta region, with the aim of locating illegal oil refining sites and destroying them. According to him, after a thorough scan of the area and observing the criminals dispersed in disarray upon sighting the aircraft, the truck as well as the canoes were attacked and destroyed. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, commended the air component for its commitment to diminishing the activities of oil thieves in the Niger Delta region. Now, residents of Bariga have been advised to imbibe proper environmental hygiene. The Commissioner and Water Resources in Lagos, Tokunbo Wahab, gave the advice during an advocacy campaign and cleanup exercise in the area. We have details in this report. It is a turn of Bariga LCDA as the community-based environmental sanitation awareness team visited the area to clean up and sensitize residents on the importance of prioritizing environmental cleanliness in their daily lives. The team is led by the Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab.
Let us take ownership of our environment and be clean. From when you wake up, take care of your environment, take care of everything around you. And then the cause and effects will be positive on our health infrastructure if the environment is well taken care of. And that's the message for Lagosians.
Addressing the state government officials, the chairman of the LCDA, Kolade Alabi, assures them that residents of Bariga will support the Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration's drive to ensure a clean environment.
There's going to be a whole lot of take home from the people by the time we address them and tell them do this and don't do that. And of course, on the part of the council, we will definitely key into the gauntlet that they have thrown and ensure that we also cascade this sensitization and advocacy down to the local council. Who will do that as a local government?
The advocacy team is expected to tour all the nooks and crannies in Lagos to ensure the initiative is embraced by every Lagos resident. Bukola Taylor Cole, LTV News. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll bring you more news stories. Please stay with us.
For 14 years, the Lagos State Building Control Agency, LABCA, has been on a mission to enforce building regulations, ensuring every structure meets the minimum safety standards. Established in 2010 under the Lagos State Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law, LABCA is the foremost building control agency in Nigeria and is inviting all stakeholders to its second annual Building Sector Stakeholders Engagement 2024 with the theme Professionalism Across Board in the Built Environment. Date Thursday, 15th August 2024 at the Balmoral Convention Center, Mobolaji Bank, Anthony Way, Ikeja, Lagos, by 10 a.m. This event is strictly by invitation. So, if you're an architect, developer, builder, engineer, or property owner, remember that LABCA will hold you accountable for the design and construction of safe, healthy, energy efficient, and environmentally friendly buildings in Lagos.
His report.
As the bustling economic and commercial hub of Nigeria, Lagos State experiences rapid urbanization and population growth. With the increasing demand on housing and commercial spaces, the Lagos State government continues to institute several initiatives and reforms to ensure proper urban planning and safety regulations, which enhances the state's global rating on the scale of ease of doing business. Although there are agencies responsible for evaluating construction proposals, ensuring projects meet the required standards, scrutinizing plans and specifications which are aimed at mitigating potential risks to public safety, cases of building collapse and flooding caused by disobedience of laws and regulations are on the increase.
Number one, when you're buying a land, your lawyer is supposed to have done a search to make sure that you are getting the right land, that the land is not under revocation or is not on a canal or is not by the setback of a canal, because there are master plans. All this is in place.
We know that we need to do things right. The approval process states that you submit these particular documents and pay the necessary assessment fees. After payment, they go to site and they register and they process. After the approvals, we are expected to proceed to LABCA for authorization to construct. And subsequently, LABCA supervises this until the state of habitation.
Lagos State Building Control is not going to take an exception for anybody. If you must buy land, go and do the due diligence. Go and do the search. Get the right professionals, lawyers, to look at it and give you the right information. And as from henceforth, any property built without building plan approval, without CFO, will go. I'm going to enforce it.
Some residents emphasize the need for effective synergy between relevant stakeholders and the need for awareness campaigns that will specify what and where to obtain various building permits.
If you want to get a land, not talk of to building, you have to follow the due process. When you collect the approval from the federal government or the state government, whatever government, I don't think they can come to demolish your house.
If you want to build your house, go to town planning, make a request on your land. They will say so land, you can buy it, you cannot buy before you commence your building and everything.
While advocating for more seamless and public-friendly process of obtaining planning and building permits, experts say it is mandatory for residents to obtain planning permits and other building documentation before embarking on construction and engage professionals to rid the state of quackery in the built sector.
There's another dimension to contravention. If you have approval, the law says if you didn't build within 2 years, you didn't erect anything, you're supposed to go back to the approving authority. In Lagos, it's LASPA, and seek for revalidation. Now, after getting planning permit, you're supposed to notify the agency in charge of building control. Have a permit, I'm starting my construction so date. So if they are not aware, you can't have what we call stage certification. That's why the entire system needs to be understood. And we told people, let professional advise you. Some advice are almost given free, so that you don't go and fall in the category of people that later government will pull down your structure.
Checking the planning regulations to make sure that, yes, what you want conforms with the planning regulation, conforms with the Development Control Act, because it clearly stated in terms of density, in terms of zoning, and in terms of the master plan for the area, in terms of the environmental impact in that particular area.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, through its zero-tolerance policy against building collapse, noted that the law will take its course against any official found capable of sabotaging the government's efforts in tackling the menace of building collapse, even as serious punitive measures will be meted to developers who were found wanting with regard to deviating from the stipulations of the approved building designs.
The academic ecosystem has been immersed in the possibilities that abound in the use of artificial intelligence innovations for learning solutions, which are gaining prominence in all spheres of knowledge gathering. Correspondent Olajumoke Oyewumi in this report examines its gains and cons on the educational landscape of Nigeria. Her report.
21st century education system, which is technologically driven, thrives basically on artificial intelligence innovations for better academic and learning solutions. The dimension of information that cannot be easily processed by human intelligence necessitates the adoption of artificial intelligence innovations, which has made learning and social interactions mostly virtual and seamless.
Artificial intelligence is more of advanced technology, and it helps the students in a very good way. It helps them to learn, know more about education and what they feel like, okay, they don't understand in class. It explains better and makes it interesting for the students as well.
According to tech experts, artificial intelligence-enabled platforms enhance student skills as it acts as a tutor to help support foundational learning aspects, such as problem-solving and complementary research, which allows students to become productive and analytical.
That is the new in thing as far as education, and in fact, professionally, people are using AI in every sphere of endeavor. And it will be good to introduce it in the learning process so that the learning outcomes will come quite apt as far as the use of AI and technology as a whole is concerned.
Also, with artificial intelligence power procedure, educational platforms can tailor learning materials and activities to meet the individual needs of students.
Looking at the policy thrust of this administration, I believe technology is at the forefront, especially in the area of education. That is an area where the government needs to really make deliberate attempts or statements in ensuring that schools key into the use of technological tools in order to advance learning, because the outcomes will certainly be better so that we can favorably compete with the international community.
Our children go online to download international textbooks for them to peruse, but with these, even our Nigerian system of education, our books are internationally intellectual competent to teach our students, and it can equip them for any exams they want to take globally.
Reports also has it that the next generation development of end-to-end automation and complex operations has eliminated human errors in providing sustainable learning innovations and service platforms and other key sectors, among others. Olajumoke Oyewumi, LTV News.
The fight against racial discrimination remains a central focus in the pursuit of social justice and equality. Across the globe, individuals and organizations are working tirelessly to address systematic inequalities and promote diversity and inclusion. Now, this report takes a look into the fight against racism and why it should be eliminated from the society.
Racism is discrimination and prejudice against people based on their race or ethnicity. Racism can be present in social actions, practices, or political systems that support the expression of prejudice or evasion in discriminatory practices. Racist ideology can become manifest in many aspects of social life, associated social actions, which includes nativism, xenophobia, and others. The fight against racial discrimination is a multifaceted endeavor that requires collective action and unwavering commitment. Efforts to combat racial discrimination manifest in various ways, spanning from grassroots activism to legislative reforms. The killing of 69 people who were peacefully demonstrating against the apartheid pass laws in 1960 by the police in South Africa gave birth to the commemoration of International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination on March 21st by the United Nations General Assembly in 1979, with a call to communities to redouble its efforts to eliminate all forms of racial discrimination.
Racism is an evil infecting countries and societies around the world, a deeply entrenched legacy of colonialism and enslavement. We must respond to that reality, learning from and building on the tireless advocacy of people of African descent. That includes governments advancing policies and other measures to eliminate racism against people of African descent, and tech firms urgently addressing racial bias in artificial intelligence. On this day, let's commit to work together to build a work of dignity, justice, and equal opportunity for every community, everywhere.
The eradication of racial discrimination is not only a moral imperative, but a fundamental step towards building a society based on equality, justice, and respect for all. Commitment to fight against this menace enforces solidarity with those affected and actively working to dismantle systemic injustice in order to build a more equitable and compassionate world for all.
In sports, organizers of the Cycling for Health competition for kids have lauded support of partners and sponsors towards the event, while assuring that the initiative will be bigger and better next year. Over 100 kids participated in the competition designed to encourage and inspire children between the ages of 8 to 17 to embrace the sport and develop their skills. We have details in this report.
The Cycling for Health initiative provides an opportunity for participants to compete and have fun as organizers use the event to promote fitness and encourage talent discovery. The summer edition of the cycling event for teen and pre-teens took place at Ikmori Housing Estate in Surulere, with participants competing for honors in the junior and senior categories for boys and girls. Engaging and keeping the kids away from social vices, the initiative focuses on mental and physical development of participants, helping them to build confidence, social skills, and competitive spirit. Initiator of Cycling for Health, Dr. Ogechi Ojunta, commended the enthusiasm shown by kids, stating that the developmental competition also enabled organizers to promote the sport, knowing the health benefits of cycling.
I think it's creating a good buzz, a good impact on the kids when it comes to health, exercise, building their confidence, basically, and also friendship, social skills. They're building that up. You can see some kids helping others, borrowing their bicycles, giving their friends helmets that don't have helmet, encouraging their friends, we can do it, giving themselves pep talks. Yesterday, they were literally having a meeting and, discussing how they were going to make this event a success. So really, it's creating a good impact on the kids, socially, mentally, physically, and health-wise.
While acknowledging the support of volunteers, partners, and sponsors towards the success of the one-day event, Ojunta revealed that the initiative has continued to grow with participants drawn from various communities participating in the third edition.
We've had about 6 months putting this together, and every month it's been crazy. But at the end of the day, we've had a successful event, and really, I'm hopeful that in the coming events, we're going to get bigger support, more support going forward. And the noise is already going out, so I'm sure pretty much very soon we won't have to be running around looking for support. They will come to us.
I'm very happy. The kids are happy, and it's helping them to aspire to want to win, because other just were saying at the background, next time we're going to try, next time we're going to try. So that is what we need in this, our children. And guess what? We won't have children who will grow to be youths that are idling away, youths that are just loitering around and depending on people to give them something before they eat.
Muyiwa Udunaya, a student of King's College, emerged winner of the junior category ahead of Adeyinka Zamat and Samad Oladepo in second and third positions.
When I was 5, my parents used to let me ride a bike, so I have passion to be riding bicycles since when I was 5. I'm better because of my bicycle and every other stuff. So I believe I can win this event. So I'm so glad of winning this event.
Michael Ayomide won the senior category while Ezekiel Moses and Ayobami Moses finished second and third. The top 3 winners got cash rewards while all participants received medals and gift items.
On the foreign scene, President Volodymyr Zelensky has acknowledged that Ukrainian forces are fighting in Russia's Kursk region, saying the ongoing incursion proves that Ukraine can indeed restore justice and ensure the necessary pressure on the aggressor. Russia has imposed a sweeping security regime in 3 border regions as battles entered their 6th day, while Belarus, a staunch ally of Moscow, has sent more troops to its border with Ukraine, accusing Kyiv of violating its airspace. The mayor of Odessa, Gennady Tukhonov, says an explosion was heard in the city and called on residents to stay in shelters until the air raid warning goes off. There are different reports of a missile being launched from the Russia-annexed Crimea towards Odessa, but also about it being intercepted. For more news, connect with Lagos Television on these social media platforms. Many thanks for watching the news at 8. Please remember to call Lagos toll-free lines 767 or 112 in case of emergencies. I am Bukola Taylor Cole. Good night.